our Terran player representing the team Complexity. It is GanZi. I've got a little tickle in my throat today. I don't know what the deal is with that.
My apologies.
Down at the bottom of the map. Well, it is your fault.
It may be. I'm not feeling too well today.
You're forgiven. Down at the... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta stay away from this guy. All right, down at the bottom left in the yellow, representing the team FXO CIS, it is HappyZerg, or Slavic. He used to be Navi Slavic. Now he's FXO HappyZerg.
Yes, indeed. So he's listed under the official roster as HappyZerg. So
yes,
that's why it is up
true.
at the top, but the names are kind of interchangeable. So there you go.
Yep.
And this is... HappyZerg is an incredible player. He really showed up in the qualifiers as well, which was nice to see, and took out some very good players en route to FXO's win. However, Complexity is coming right out of the gates with one of their very best players. I mean, there's not many people on their roster that can claim to be truly better than this guy. So, you know, coming out with an ace right away, certainly a bold strategy.
Yeah, I mean, GanZi has really done well throughout his career in the GSL. He took first in a Code A season. He's bounced around Code S for a while, too. I mean, he is one of the best Terran players out there. He was on Slayers for a long time, where he trained under the tutelage of Boxer. He was able to train with other Terrans like MMA, Ryung, Teja. He's got, like, the pedigree, I guess you could say, to be an amazing Terran player, and he certainly is. So we'll have to see what he decides to do in this game. It looks like it's going to be double barracks, first of all.
Yep, double barracks, a bit proxied. Probably not going to be scouted by any common overlord pathing. So he's going to keep that pretty well hidden. It's still quite a walk distance for these Marines, but it's going to keep them hidden for a very long time.
Yep, that's right. And I know for a fact that at least back when I talked to him quite a bit more, that HappyZerg absolutely hates this opening. He hates playing against this. So we'll have to see what he can do. He was practicing really hard at getting better at defending that when he was living in the Gome house, and I'm sure by now, you know, he's pretty good. But this is GanZi again we're talking about. I feel like we're just kind of talking up GanZi a lot, but he is that good. I mean, he's worth talking up. Yeah, he's got that talent. So HappyZerg is going to really have to respond perfectly with this. He's going to have to really be on top of his micro. It's going to take a little while for the Marines to get there, but when they do, he'll definitely need to be, you know, playing at his best.
Well, first couple of the Marines are already making their way out. A couple of drones pulled off the line to tear after this SUV. He wants to make sure that any sort of bunker does not go up. And is there another SUV making its way across the map? Probably the second one that built. Yeah,
there's one.
The second barracks. So already, wow, a lot of drones pulled off the line now. And all he does...
Not attacking the SUV, though.
Oh, he just got 100,
he killed it.
100 minerals worth of damage there. Yeah, by that bunker not being canceled.
Man. All right, loses a drone in return, but still it's nice to get that bunker to cancel.
And, yeah, looks like Slavic going to pull a couple units offline as he does produce 8 Zerglings for now. And we'll see how much GanZi wants to press this. He's continuing to reinforce with more Marines.
Yeah.
But now that those Zerglings are out, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get damage done.
Yeah, he should be safe now. I mean, he's got 2 Queens on the way as well. I would say he's safe to make a couple drones at this point. If he needs to pull a couple, that's fine. Drones actually have more hit points than Zerglings do, so they are actually pretty decent at buffering some of this early Marine damage, too, to kind of let your Zerglings get up close and personal and get the surround on the few Marines out there. So
StarCraft 2, this time it's personal.
This time it's personal. StarCraft 2, Photon Boogaloo. I don't know. I've got Photon on the brain now.
That's quite all right. It was a fun game.
It was a fun game.
Well, another 10 Zerglings coming out now, and of course, that's 5 larvae that could have been drones right now, but is not, so those 5 range queens really going to work on that SCV. They will be able to stop it, so the bunker is going to force to be canceled here in a second. GanZi's starting to move back with these Marines, though he's doing quite a bit of damage. Most of the Zerglings have gone down, and the queens are relatively undefended. Now, both of them are low on health, but neither has been targeted quite yet.
Well, this is such an interesting way to see this happen. I mean, really, the Zerglings kind of buffered for the Queens as they fired from long distance there. I mean, now if you think about it, Queens have the same range as Marines, right?
Yes.
So it's that's going to actually change this early part of the game quite a bit. You saw how easily HappyZerg killed off the SCV that was building that, not supply depot, building that bunker. So I don't know. You know, the Queen change, I think, can have bigger implications than people realize. I really wonder what we're going to see in the next couple months from that.
Well, taking stock of things afterwards, 21 workers to what's going to be 31 here in just a second, as a bunch more drones are just about to finish up. But, you know, GanZi really not, even though he did do a ton of damage, not exactly in a bad position as far as his economy goes, as he will be working off of his second command center very soon.
I was worried for that SCV for a second. It looked like they were shooting at him. That was dangerous. Oh. HappyZerg sending in an Overlord to the main base, but He won't actually see anything, and even though Overlords are a little bit quicker, he's not going to really be able to get much use out of that.
And he did pick up on the second command center.
That does help.
Did not see that second refinery, though, and as we know, there's already another factory coming up.
Yep. And right now, FXO moving around the map, trying to find those barracks. Has he seen those yet? I feel like he should have by now, but I wonder if he just barely missed them. Yeah, he did. He just barely missed them. That's actually a really good place to build those.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's
GanZi.
absolutely not detected by GanZi at all. So we'll see if he decides to fly back. There we go. Finally moving those barracks back.
Releasing the trap marine.
Takes the third base. I was just thinking about that a second ago. Yeah.
He's gone. It's a magician.
Yes.
Magic Marine.
Houdini Marine. I like it.
That's right. I'm thinking about magic, too, because I'm playing so much Diablo 3 lately.
That's not a bad thing. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Thinking about magic because I've been playing a lot of magic lately. So.
Oh, well, that's a good thing, too.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's a big group of Marines for GanZi. He's going to be able to at least, you know, put a little bit of pressure if he wants to on FXO, make him make a few more lings. But I think he's just going to kind of roam around the map, look for Overlords, and then just try to make sure his third base area is a little bit more secure, too.
Roach Warren and Double Evolution Chamber coming up now. We saw a lot of this in the match yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this has been a pretty popular build lately. Very good way to start transitioning into much, much higher tech as you move along. Could get layer tech pretty quickly on as well. Actually, 10 Roaches coming out, though. He is droning up behind this, so this is just going to be for a little bit of presence and pressure more than anything else.
Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite Diablo 3 class so far?
Well, I played most of them during the closed beta back around September.
Me too.
That was the last time I had played Diablo 3 before I actually started another character last night, and I had the most fun in the beta with the Witch Doctors. That's what I started. Because the CC plus the Fire Bats is amazing.
Fire Bats.
Fire Bats is awesome spell in that game. So
yeah, the runes actually make it pretty cool, too. I'm a wizard myself. I've
you?
always played Wizard, although I have been kind of playing around with Barbarian a little bit. But
yes,
I am primarily and always will be a Wizard player in Diablo.
Aw.
I put on my robe and wizard hat.
Please don't finish
the game.
Well, GanZi's going to make his way in with a Marine. Poor Marine. Don't know how you picked the short straw on that duty. And does see the third base, and a few Roaches are up, of course. And FXO doing pretty much everything we've seen Zerg players do versus Terran recently. Baneling Nest following this up, layer tech coming up, a lot of lings now with those upgrades, and it should keep him pretty safe to be able to transition into that hive tech eventually.
Well, FXO is pretty good friends with Damaga and practices with him quite a bit, and they do swap strategies and swap tips pretty often, I know. So you really tend to see a similarity in their styles, that very upgrade-heavy, ling-heavy, going into infestors and then ultras in the end. That's a lot of times what you see a lot of the European Zerg players do, actually. Stefano being a bit of an outlier in that regard. But players like Damaga, FXO, Nurchio to a certain extent, although maybe not as much, you tend to see very similar things, you know, relying a lot on Roaches as well.
And this is pretty interesting. GanZi's actually going over into triple Hellion, triple Marauder production. So sometimes you see
crazy, man.
Sometimes you see things like Marauder, Hellion all-ins, but usually they hit a lot earlier than this. This isn't an all-in. This is just like, I'm going to make a lot of Marauders and Hellions and throw them at you. And to be perfectly honest, that's pretty powerful against what FXO has on the field right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, FXO doesn't have any mutas or anything like that, so he can't take advantage of the fact that GanZi can't hit air. And this could potentially do a little bit of damage. I think he's got enough Roaches, but with the Marauders and the Marines coming up too, this is going to get a little bit dangerous for our Zerg player.
Now, Stim is nowhere near finished. In fact, it's only halfway done at this second.
That's probably why he's pulling back too. Yeah, it's kind of an anti-timing to a certain extent unless he wants to pressure the third a bit.
Right, which he could very well do. It looks like he's going to try buffering a little bit of damage and dealing some out to those units. Oh, Baneling's trying to roll their way in as well. If they can connect with the Marines, be very good. But a good flank from FXO. He runs around the edge with yet more Roaches, finally allowing those Zerglings to start to catch up. Weren't really being hit by the Hellions for a good period of time, and most of the firepower from those bio units has gone down, and the Hellions are going to melt in addition.
No kidding. This is looking great for FXO right now. He's getting a nice supply lead out of this as well. Not even enough Marauders to handle this. Such a strange strategy from GanZi, but that's not terribly surprising. I mean, you do see him try a lot of stuff sometimes. He does come from Slayers, the House of Terran Innovation, and GanZi himself. especially has been one of the players that throughout the history of StarCraft 2 has been willing to try a lot of unique things. And you'd see a lot of times it doesn't really work terribly well, too. So
that's kind of what happened here.
It's a dangerous spot.
He still does have, now Stim is done for him, and he's got a ton of units still back to defend. But there are a ton of Banelings that are being morphed in right now. 13 of them, as a matter of fact. While at the same time, HappyZerg is actually reinvesting back into his economy. He's going to be on 80 drones here in a second.
Yeah, he's been able to drone up quite a bit. And here come the Roaches buffering for some of the damage. The Banelings coming through as well. Oh, will the Hellions kill off the Banelings? Oh, man, Slavic, HappyZerg losing a couple Banelings there, unfortunately.
Yes, he does, and it looks like this bunker is going to start to be repaired
up. Time.
Oh, the Banelings are running through the SCVs as well. A ton of workers are lost there. A couple of Marauders on the high ground. It looks like for the time being, GanZi's going to be able to destroy the front line of units, but at what an incredible cost. He's half the supply of his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to hold this off, but he's taken so many losses. Look at the worker count. It's going to blow your mind. Look at that, 29 SCVs.
You're right, my mind is blown.
Drones. Your mind has just been blown, hasn't it?
Yes. It's gone. I'm done for the rest of the cast.
GanZi?
Yes.
That look is kind of scary. Wow.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
Here.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Oh, guys.
Man.
All right.
Totally.
Yeah, more workers coming in now as GanZi is furiously trying to put up whatever he can at this point.
Building as fast as he's able to, which isn't any faster than he normally builds. So
no chrono boost for Terran players.
Yep.
Can't use multiple SCVs to make a building faster.
Yeah. What game was that you could do that? There was an RTS out there that you could do that. Was that Command & Conquer?
Probably, but I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
Let's see here.
Oh, yeah. That's true. You can do it in the campaign. That's a good point.
Our producer, Josh, jumping in with tidbits of StarCraft knowledge
That's
we were
right.
aware of.
We need to get a camera and a microphone for him once in a while, too.
No kidding.
Oh, here come the Roaches. There are Infestors on the way behind the Spire and Hive as well for HappyZerg to move into whatever he really wants.
No siege mode research, so
no third base either.
There are a couple of siege tanks up. It's going to be very difficult for GanZi to try and deflect any big attack that comes out his way.
GanZi's just in that position where he's like, all right, so what the heck do I do now to get out of this? And it's tough, you know, and it's even worse when you have to take time to think about what you're going to do in StarCraft 2. That's really going to slow you down. All the pro players will have a plan, you know. That's why you always hear people like, you know, all the prominent people in the community, Day9, saying you always have to have a plan, right? Because if you don't, you're going to waste all this time during the game thinking about what you have to do. And GanZi, just because of kind of the strange opening he has, now has to kind of take that time in this game. He was planning on killing HappyZerg with that, and it didn't work out. So, you know, what now?
Well, he has completely cut workers at 39, so he is clearly planning on just making as many units he can on 2 bases and basically going pretty close to all in. I mean, unless we see a command center floated down or one constructed within the next, like, 3 seconds.
That's about as all in as it gets, really. I mean, yeah, he's not going to have a third base in this game. This is all in. He has to win with this next attack. Everything's kind of counting on this. And how crazy would that be to see GanZi get knocked out immediately in this team league? What a great start for FXO if that's how the game turns out.
Well, we'll find out here. This is still a pretty powerful army for him. He's down by 35 workers, so take that out of the supply, and you can see that armies are pretty close to each other, and the firepower for GanZi is very, very good. But that being said, Slavic sitting on 3 bases, going up to his 4th and 5th at the same time. His economy is incredibly well developed. He still has 70 workers. He's making a ton of spine crawlers to protect himself, and he's already beginning the Broodlord transition.
Well, what HappyZerg really needs to do right now as he makes this transition is make absolutely sure he hits every single one of his injects and make sure that he has enough larvae so that when the army trades happen, he's able to replenish faster than his opponent can. Looks like this hatchery is probably going to go... maybe not.
Yeah.
Wow, we got there in time. That was close. I didn't think he'd do it. The Marauders only stimmed once, though, so that was probably a little bit of it anyway.
Yeah, and looks like a few spine crawlers are finally going to get put up here.
Yeah.
And GanZi going to try and make his way over to the 3rd, but there's already a lot of stuff there. He had multiple spine crawlers. 2 Marauders have already fallen. The Corruptors pick off the medevac, and GanZi has once again lost a fair bit of supply.
Yeah, it's time. He's going to move out and try to end the game with this. He's got 160 supply. A lot of that is Army. I think, what, about 120 of it? You said there were about 39 SCVs?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, still 39 SCVs.
So this is it. He needs to win with this. He needs to be very careful about how he kind of pushes across the map with these siege tanks.
Yeah.
FXO does not want to attack into that choke. This is what a lot of Terran players will do if they're down. They'll actually set up right in this little area, try to get the Zerg to attack into it, and then try to just trade efficiently enough that they can just sort of overwhelm their opponent. Well, so FXO needs to be careful not to fall into the trap.
We'll see if that's going to be enough. It's a pretty well-developed tank line for GanZi.
Yeah,
so
it's really good.
Yeah, that's going for him. But, of course, there are a couple of Broodlords up now with more on the way. And Broodlords, just the presence of them makes this attack so much weaker.
Here we go.
And all the units just flood in behind at the same time. So Slavic running with a massive amount of units. And GanZi just can't siege up for now, which means these roaches are able to close and start doing a massive amount of damage.
Pretty much. He needs to pull those infestors back just a little bit. He needs to fungal, but also keep them alive. He only has 2 Broodlords right now, but it looks like there should be plenty. FXO looks like he's about to take out GanZi in game 1.
Wow, very, very impressive.
Not
a couple
bad.
more Broodlords are going to start waddling their way up to the front as well. GanZi with his reinforcements trying to pick off a couple of these. He does manage to get one. Oh, the infestors are going to die.
He does burrow. A scan to kill one infestor. Don't know if that's quite worth it, but he's running out of resources anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
A couple lings coming in now. They do have 2-2, so the upgrades are pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings coming in right now.
Yes, it
GG.
is. GG, and GanZi is knocked out in game number 1, so FXO puts FXO up 1-0 in this best of 9.
That's pretty big, man. The ability
really
of
big.